There's quite a few years passed before you returned to Doctor Who once again for the final time.
Yeah.
And that was against Tom Baker.
Yeah.
In another Cyberman story, actually.
Was it a Cyberman? Yeah.
Revenge of the Cybermen.
Mm-hmm. I don't honestly remember much about. I don't even know what my part was. Was I a sort of town councillor or a town administrator or something?
You were an alien.
I was an alien.
Yeah.
Was I?
Yeah, behind a lot of makeup.
Well, as an alien, does that mean I was one of the baddies?
No, I don't think you were actually in this story. You were almost like an ambassador for that particular planet. You were one of the well-behaved aliens.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Any memories at all of Tom Baker?
Well, he's a very nice man. He was a very interesting man. Very artistic man, and he keeps busy these days. I'm glad to see. He's a very good actor, of course. He was a very good original. Because by that time, you see, after Pat and Bill, it became important to do something different, didn't it, for Doctor Who? And that's what the subsequent ones, everyone's had to try and do something a little different. You can't copy the one before. But of course, the part is still the same, which does make it difficult. It means you've got to stick things on, as it were. Tom Baker had this scarf thing, didn't he? Didn't he have a strange deerstalker hat or something that he wore?
At one time.
But it was, I mean, that was just the thing he stuck on. I bet you his own ebullience as a man and as an entertainer actually gave him a difference to Pat and Bill Hartnell. But no, I don't. I have no special memories except that he was easygoing, pleasant sort of chap to work with, and it was all fun. And I didn't have much to do, as far as I can remember. In fact, I know I had nothing to do.
As the human said, recrimination is pointless now. But I promise you, Vorus, if by some miracle our planet should survive, you will face trial for treason.
It's you who should be tried, Tarim. You and your creeping sycophants in the city.
As leader of the Guardians, you abused your trust. You opened the routes to the surface. You made clandestine contact with aliens. And you beamed radio transmissions out into space. There are no greater crimes in our calendar.
In your calendar, Tarim! In your cowering, furtive underworld life! If we survive, I will face trial gladly. I will give the people my reasons. I wanted to free them from this tyranny of dark, dripping rock.
Living the way we had for generations, at least we were safe, Boris. Safe from the genocidal threat of the Cybermen.
I've heard that you actually attended a Doctor Who convention a few years back.
Oh, yes.
Have you got any memories of that at all?
Not really. I went with Sheila Canfield, didn't I? Sheila Canfield took me along. I know why. Because, you know, the Doctor Who news, and this would have been, I can tell you when, it was 1985. Do you know the story? They printed my obituary with a nice photograph and some nice things about me. And I don't know who spotted it first. It might have been Sheila Canfield who rang me, and she said, "You know, they think you're dead, and she said, you mustn't dedicate around. You won't get any work." I've forgotten exactly. Anyway, I did. I didn't. Nobody sent me that Doctor Who magazine. She eventually got one and cut out the cutting and sent it to me, and there it was. My God, I was there. I passed away. Well, actually, what happened? I presume. I mean, I don't know. One didn't say, "Who's this reporter telling that?" Actually, around that time, it was actually July 1985, is the month my wife died. She died on the 25th. And I have a feeling this, people talking about me, and he may have been a reporter or someone who contributed to the magazine, may have heard a snippet of a conversation hearing Death and Kevin Stoney. But I mean, Rosalie was quite well known as an actress. I mean, maybe not in television so much, although she'd done a few televisions, but on the stage she was probably better known than I was. Not that I was pretty well known at all, really, but I mean, well, I wasn't at all well known, but she certainly was well known. Anyway, probably there were television people talking about it or something, and identifying Rosie as Kevin Stoney's wife, and he probably heard or she, whoever was the reporter, heard Kevin Stoney, and so they had this down. It's like the story about Mark Twain, didn't they? Where his obituary was noticed before time, and what his famous remark was. It's one of the quoted remarks, and I've lost it. Shows what age does. Oh, I know. The report of my death is being greatly exaggerated.
This is Talos, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces of the planet Delta.
I am John Koenig, Commander of Moonbase Alpha.
What do you have to communicate?
I'm responsible for the lives of the people on this base. Through no fault of ours, we have become involved in your war. As long as the fighting continues, our lives are in extreme jeopardy. I ask for a ceasefire.
I appreciate your predicament. We did not start this war. We were attacked treacherously and without warning. The enemy gunship on your moon had to be destroyed.
Your gunship came to our moon and was itself destroyed. Heavy losses must have been caused on both planets. You have had your revenge. I ask for a ceasefire.
I will place your request before the Presidium.
I didn't even really understand the stories, all that. It wasn't something that I could savor and relish, because I'm not into that. I mean, none of my reading has ever been in science fiction. I've never tried seriously, I must admit. But I haven't, because I find the ideas also, I mean, sometimes startling, wonderfully inventive ideas, but I can't follow the mechanical process. And the fun of that sort of thing is when you can, or when you can see some reality in the build-up they give you as to why it's going to happen. I'm completely unable to grasp that, and that is because I never can be on the right wavelength for it.
Commissioner Sphere, this is the man Ardis.
You may sit. What happened to your eyes?
Radiation flare, Commissioner. This sonoscope stops me bumping into things, but I'm blind by any normal criteria.
Tell me, what were they doing on the planet Bucol 2 towards the end of the war?
I'm not sure I'm empowered to divulge that, Commissioner. It was a top secret, oral-only operation. I don't believe more than 6 people knew of it.
I did not know of it. Some of our war departments were laws unto themselves.
I'm sorry. Why should you have known of it? Only 6 war intelligence officers, and Servalan, our president, knew of it, if ever she was told.
Servalan. Why do you mention Servalan?
No reason particularly.
No?
Simply, she came into my mind.
Why did she come into your mind?
I cannot say, Commissioner.
Very well. I await your information.
Well, you get to know the director better than the producer. The producer's only there to read through at the beginning, and then on the technical rehearsal, and then he has his own special notes. Well, the director you're working with every day, and it's he who rehearses you. So obviously you get to know the director.
Only once did I meet a man, Zaccardi, able to exert total control.
Total? How total?
Total, complete, ultimate.
Could a person, Zaccardi, train a flock of birds, seagulls say, to attack an aircraft?
To Zaccardi, anything was possible. If you're interested, I have a picture of him. The third right-hand drawer of the desk. It was a sad day when he retired. He'd so much to offer.
He retired, you say?
Yes, to devote his life to birds. He opened a home for them. The Sanctuary of Wings.